Hey folks, I'm Philippi, and welcome back to, I guess not back to, Age of Wonders 4. This is a new game for the channel. We're going to try it out and see what it's like. I played around with a bit on my own to get familiar with most of the rules and stuff. I think I played about 30 turns or 40 turns worth. And I think it's a pretty cool game. I certainly played some of the older versions of this game back in the day, because I am an old bear. And so I'm familiar with the series. And so this time we're going to play on the first story mode, Rise of the Godier, I believe it's called. And we're going to select one of the pre-made factions. I could make my own. If you pop into here, you can make your own faction. You can pick between these different races: dwarves, elves, halflings, goblins, felines, ratkin, toadkin, and molekin. And then you pick a bunch of stats and backgrounds and so on and so forth with that, but we won't do that this particular time. We'll pick one of the pre-made ones because they fit what's going on in this particular story as they're created by the creators of the game. I don't think the one I created for my private playthrough is here, no. Yeah, I created these people, the Hearth Keepers, for my private playthrough. We'll just pick one here. So we have a whole bunch. We could be Faithful Tigrans, Destined Humans, the First Elves, the Bloodfang Orcs, which I thought about. Seems like an interesting one. And we'll go over some of what this means on this screen here, because we've not seen this game yet. Mountain Dwarves, Arcane Tigrans, so a different kind of Tigran. Wholesome Halflings, Necrotic Goblins, Fiendish Rodents, Deep Dwellers, which also might be interesting to play, Human Paladins, and of course the Cursed Toadlings. I don't know why that was so hard to say. And if you look when I hover over this, you can see that their first book that they have, so magic is in tomes in this, and each tome is tied to a particular type of magic. And I forget how many types there are, but there are quite a few. And so she's got the Tome of Enchantment here. And she has 3 kinds of magic that is part of her identity, I guess you could say. And you can expand that further out as you play, but the more you expand, the more dilute your magic becomes. It's in some ways better to concentrate on 2 or 3 only, because that way you can max out that particular one and get the higher level stuff associated to it. So this one, she's got Materium, which is the orange one with a little shield or diamond on it. Nature Magic, which is the green with the leaf, pretty obviously. And then Order Magic at level 1, which is the yellow one with the, looks like a line through it, perhaps, or an open die. Not quite sure what you would describe that as. So you can see that these humans have a 6 affinity with the Order Magic, which makes them very strong in Order Magic, but weak everywhere else, whereas Reyna here has a sort of a diverse platform, which gives her more versatility in her magic, but not depth, you might say. So you have to think about those things when you're picking a race. I'd like to play one with Nature Magic. This one is Nature and Materium. These guys don't seem very nice. I'm going to play a good person too, I think. These guys are Chaos and Nature. Also don't seem very nice. Yeah, it's just Shadow and Chaos. I think we'll probably play the Halflings, which are nature primarily, but also a little bit of order. And he's got the Tome of Roots. And Ham Binger is from the earlier games. He's a character in them. I think a couple of these others are as well, but definitely Ham Binger is. So I think that's who we're going to play. So we'll select the faction. I think there's an opening cutscene, so I'll be quiet and you can watch that.
It was the time when the raw forces of magic returned to Athla. The seal that had protected the world was shattered. The cosmic currents, thereby unleashed, shaped the land, changing what was, whilst returning what once may have been. In the wake of this new genesis, the great empires of the Third Age fell into decline, bringing on an era of re-exploration and expansion. Alas, the time for peaceful discovery was brief. For the ancient wizards of the Second Age broke free from their eldritch prisons in the depths of the astral sea. Their strength regained, they set out to rule over the surviving peoples as God Kings, or Godir. There was little divine about them. Yaka, Nimue, Carissa, a pantheon of pretender gods. They were scarred, corrupted, haunted by millennia of torment, and ready to unleash their newfound powers against whoever dared stand in their way. Yet the Wizard Kings were not unchallenged. Mortal champions rose to the defense of their people, rebuilding their realms and learning to channel the currents of magic. This is the story of one such champion. While traveling through the Valley of Wonders in search of a new home, tragedy befell his tribe, its elder slain by a magical being. After inheriting both the elder's throne and his powerful tome of magic, the young champion had to rise up and protect his people from the dangers that awaited.
Here we are. I really like that art style where they use sort of static, really nicely drawn images and just animate certain levels of it to give it a bit of, what do we call it, movement, might be a good way to describe it, and some effects on it. I really like that style. It really cuts down on the cost of creating the game and the time it creates instead of having these fully animated, realistic scenes like other higher, I would say, more AAA, more highly funded games do. But it's really cool. It's really effective. And it really suits sort of the storybook kind of feel to some of these kinds of games like this one. So we are Hambinger. New ruler emerges, explore your surroundings, and expand your domain. Face your rivals, and become a master of this realm. Your choices will shape the Age of Wonders. You have the Tome of Roots. So discover the power of the natural world, and it specializes in mobilizing enemies and healing allies. I'm not going to read the quote there, but you can see it there. We are Halflings, of course, which give us quick reflexes. So useful to approach an enemy and ranged units, so 30% harder to be hit by ranged attacks, which is cool. And then elusive, greater for mobile hit and run tactics. You gain +6 defense and resistance against retaliation attacks and attacks of opportunities. It allows us to move into squares where there are retaliation and attack people who have retaliation, and when we get into combat I'll show you what that symbol looks like as it shows you on the map. And then leaving the zone of control of an enemy unit, sometimes they can get an attack of opportunity against you, depending on the kind of unit they are. And this gives me greater defense on those as well. And we're also a feudal society, so structures with food income are important to us. Units benefit from close formations with the stand together trait, so those are units that stand together have a higher defense. And we have feudal lords, of course. We have adept settlers, so it gives us +1 city cap, which is pretty cool, because most people start with 3 cities, so they can have maximum. And we have 4, I say maximum until you buy city expansion stuff. Founding cities cost 25% less than Imperium, which is very good because Imperium is one of the resources in the game that is very hard to acquire. It's very limited, and so having things that reduce the amount of Imperium you spend is important. And then newly founding cities gain +1 population, and that's excellent because Pop, as in most 4X game, Pop is king. And starting bonus, the capital city starts with an additional population as well. That's pretty cool. And we're also devotees of good. We share pure intentions, compassion, and unerring devotion to the cause of good. So all cities have +10 stability, and your empire has a +5 Imperium per level of good alignment. So the more good we are, the more Imperium we produce. We have +10 to our alignment, and towards the good phase, that's with the little sun symbol looking up, the yellow going up. Evil is red going down, like a sun setting kind of thing, I guess you could say. And then support units and polearm units at +1 rank. And then our starting bonus, we start with an extra support unit or polearm unit. Super duper. So our starting magic, we have Call of Glory. It's going to be +1. It's a skill level 1 buff spell. And all friendly units in a 1 hex radius gain 5 morale and become strengthened. And because this has nesting tooltips, like all good games should nowadays, it tells you what morale is. So the higher morale, the higher the chance of critical chance. And the low morale means you fumble and you could possibly rout. So having high morale is good. And Strengthen gives us +10% damage and can stack up to 5 times to add +50% damage total, which is pretty cool. And then Healing Roots is the healing spell level 1. It adds 10 temporary hit points, and I'll talk a bit about how hit points work in combat when we get into combat. And 2 regeneration. So regeneration heals 6 hit points, temporary hit points at the end of the turn of the battle, and stacks up to 5 times. So you could have, 5 times 630 temporary hit points healed at the end of the round. It's very cool. Both of these are in combat spells. So there are spells that you cast on the world map, there are spells that you cast in combat, and there are spells that you cast to summon units, and there are spells that you cast to buff units. Which is very neat. So a new dawn, a battle quest. So we need to slay 3 units and build 1 improvement, a farm. Long have the wholesome halflings wandered Alfla? Wow, they could have picked an easier name to say. Alfla. As exiles. O Grand Steward Hambinger, by leading them to this valley, you have returned to them hope. Proud city of Quentin represents a new beginning for your people. They are eager to stride beyond the city gates and claim the surrounding lands as their own, to expand your domain, hunt down the creatures near Quentin, to grow a new population, to place your first farm. We'll get a reward of city stability and a mysterious bonus. So let this begin. Alright, and so we start with a scout unit here. Scout units are used to discover stuff on the map, but they're also a military unit and they can be part of your armies. And then of course my stack of stuff with my hero, which is my ruler. You can get other heroes in the game as well as 2 bannermen, which are level 2 soldier unit, support unit. So you can see at the top there it says bannermen, and under that support. 1 unit of peasant pikemen, or 2 units, sorry, and an archer. Not a great lineup of stuff, because these peasant pikemen are not the greatest unit in the world. I'd like to replace them eventually, but they'll do for now. But let's go clear out some baddies. So first, right there, these. So these give you a preview if you hover over them, over how nasty the fight will be. None of them look particularly nasty, but what I will do is move this scout just a little bit closer. Because units, no, that's the city. Thank you, here we go. Units support each other on the map. There are certain situations where this won't happen, specifically sort of like special ancient sites that you can only send 1 stack into, but in general, allied units will support each other on the map. So we go over here, and we can see that if I hover over this unit here, that my scout will also join in the fight. So we'll have the 6 units from my leader stack plus an additional scout to fight these 2 marauder guards. Or over here, same with this one, we'll help out with that one, and increases my chance to win here. Now note that enemies also do this, so if these were allied enemies, if I hovered over this one, these 2 enemies may join. Will join together to defend themselves. So let's go over and beat up the smaller stack first. And we'll do some manual combat. We'll talk a bit about combat while we're in here. So combat in Age of Wonders 4 is hex-based and turn-based. And it's an everybody on one side goes, and then everybody on the other side goes kind of turn, sort of like XCOM style like that. But it has some really interesting stuff going on here. First off, it's great to pump this up to maximum speed so that you can watch the units move around all you want. But if you put this up to maximum speed, when things move, they move very quickly on the map. It really shortens down the amount of time you're in this battle screen. I like to do it this way. Not everybody does, but I prefer it. And this will automate the combat, but you can stop the automation at any time. And I find the computer is very smart in how it automates its combat, generally. And it does things that I wouldn't normally do that I think are actually more optimal because it thinks about stuff like a computer would, not like a human. So I like to interrupt the computer, but I generally let the computer play a large chunk of the combat. So you can see everybody moved up and they put some defensive warding on, and we're still going because I haven't hit the stop button yet. And they'll fight for a bit here. And then I'll wait till my turn's done and the enemy goes and we'll stop it and come back. So my scouts come over and attack from the side. So I've turned off the automation now that's the enemy's turn. And I want to make a note of something here to show something off. So if we go like you and we have you come... actually, let's take him. You have a spell. You have a healing spell, perfect. Because this is an easy fight, I don't mind doing this. So you can see here this unit has suffered a little bit of damage. You can see that their circle here has some out of it. And if I hover over the unit, I'm sure it would tell me what it is. Probably not when I have the spell up. But casting healing spells in this game restores temporary hit points. So there, temporary hit points are on, and you can see it's got hash line now on this unit, on their temporary hit points. If you hover over here, you can see they've got 63 real hit points plus 10 temporary hit points. They've also got regeneration going. And this is interesting, so that what it does is it buffs your health of your units back up during combat, but after combat, all these temporary hit points disappear, and your unit will have to heal up like normal. So this helps stop people farming health inside battles, inside battle maps. So a faction that is particularly good at healing has an advantage in the old systems of Age of Wonder, where they could just, say, eliminate this this horse unit, keep this one pikeman around who's not that much of a threat, heal all the units back up to maximum, and then kill the pikeman in one final blow when everybody's back to full health, and then move on in the regular map at full health again. Well, this stops that sort of, I would call it an exploit, that exploit of healing, by making this only temporary. So even if I hang around here and heal everybody up to maximum, when we get off the map, this temporary stuff will disappear. Anyhow, let's continue the fight. Attacking that guy would be very good, but I need to get rid of this first. So let's do you, because you're gonna have a hard time moving. Let's move you up to here, and you can see the closer I move, the easier it is for me to shoot. So it's 90% there, 50% there, 30% here. That's the miss chance. Perfect. Now, these guys are anti-horse, and this is a horse unit. So let's do that. So he's got Cavalry Slayer. And then you're here, and you can shoot. You should probably get a little bit closer. You're going to miss no matter what, but here's 30 and here's 50, so I'm going to move you one up and then shoot. Perfect. I want you to move up to at least 50. Everybody's 50 here, so there is good. Perfect. So I took a little bit of damage on this one pikeman. No problem, but as you can see, the damage is maintained. Close that, and that should... That did not update this stat because it was the wrong stack. So this is the stack of 3 that it wants me to kill for this new dawn. So we'll get that done too. So what we'll do is we'll have you come up to here. Can you attack? You can. Let's do that. And then we'll manual combat this one as well. So my ruler was out of movement, but the scouts still had plenty of movement, so we could still attack because the ruler will come in on their own. We'll pick up that speed, make everybody move quickly, have everybody run together here. I'll do it one more time, and when the enemy goes, I'll undo the turn here. A little aggressive on that pikeman unit, but sure. As you can see, they take a lot of damage. This pikeman unit might die, actually, and did. That's fine. We'll just use the crappy unit. We'll replace it later. So during combat, I can cast spells. I can cast Healing Roots or buff Strength. I might cast buff Strength if I do that. Oops, I did the wrong thing. Hold on. find the controls in this game to be a little silly sometimes. Yeah, let's do this. Hurt the pigs. Let's, if I go here, that'll hurt him quite a lot. Yeah, this guy is the big trouble, and you get flanking here is when you attack from an angle that they're not facing. So you can see there, because they're hexes, they got 3 forward-facing tiles and 3 back-facing tiles, so you attack from the back like I did. You get the flanking bonus. I think I'd like you to come over here and do... Oh, you've already done the defensive thing, so I guess you're going to do this. Also flanked. You done your defensive bonus yet? I think you have. I want you to come over here and kill that guy off. Less enemies means less damage. Can you kill this one off? You can. Let's do that. Quite dead, but almost. You come over here, you could probably kill off these pigs. Thank you. And this is the spell I was trying to cast. This means a little janky sometimes, the spells. I don't really need to cast the spell, so I think I'll just leave it. And we'll end the turn. So these pikemen will take a bunch of damage, but that's fine. So I'll get you to attack this thing. So you see the 40%, the 4% graze there. Part of that was because of the distance they were at. And let's have the hero kill off the last one. Boom. We did lose a unit. I mean, no biggie. We'll gain another unit in a minute. It looks like our archers and our scout gained a level, which is cool. And Ham has not gained a level yet, but he will eventually. We killed off all these enemies, which completed this part of the quest. We still got to build a farm, which we'll do in a minute. So now I'm going to take you, my scout unit, and put them on auto-explore. So now at the end of the turn, he'll run around the map and explore various fogged parts of the map for me and pick up these kind of resources that are lying around as well. They don't do anything that requires any real interaction other than just stepping on things, and they won't attack enemies, but they will wander around the map and reveal stuff for you, which is important for finding other players and finding free cities, which we'll talk about in a second. The quest wants me to build a farm. Well, there are 2 spots here that I can only build a farm on. This one leads out, and this one leads up into the mountains. Since there's no enemy that's going to be up here, I can save this for later because nobody's going to encroach on this particular territory. And I can move out this way. Now, it's good to note that these, whatever, tiles, provinces, whatever you want to call them, have specific bonuses to them. So these are fertile plains, for instance, and this is, I think they're all fertile plains actually, yeah. But this one, for instance, has a iron deposit on it, so if I annex this, it will give me plus 10 hammers, which is the this construction thing, the build thing, I don't remember what they call it. What's the hammers called again? Production. On it, no matter what we do. So if I build a farm here, it would give me, if I hover over this, it would give me 7 food and 10 production. And if I build a quarry here, it would give me 15 production because it gives me plus 5. The quarry gives me plus 5 production, plus the 10 from the iron mine. And if I build the a mine deposit, instead it would give me money. Gold instead. So I get 5 gold and 10 production. Which is pretty cool. Same down here for the gold mine. It's similar to the iron mine, except for instead of giving me production, this one gives me gold. And over here is a pasture, which gives me plus 10 food. I will probably build a pasture at some point, but I think for the sake of the story, I'm going to build this one right there. You have tamed the land around Quentin and invoked a spirit of optimism and adventure in your people. They are staging a play that retells the story of how you led the wholesome halflings to safety and the death of the elder to inherit the tome, the schism with the Emerald Goldheart, and eventually the founding of Quentin in the Valley of Wonders. The play will honor. The play in your honor will coincide with a promise for the future. How do you wish it to end? We'll end with a treasury worthy of king. So this gives me plus 40 gold per turn for 6 turns. So that's oh, it's going to make me do math. 6 times 4 is it's 240 gold. Or the last scene in the place for Bountiful Fields. We get a whole bunch of money. And we gain 1 pop. Or on the battlefield, the Valors of the Wholesome Halflings to fulfill their destiny. It gives us a whole bunch of draft, which is the other kind of production. This is the production you use to make units. And the production is the income you use to make buildings and such. So it gives us more draft, or in the Shadow of Scholars, Quentin has high haul, so we get 23 knowledge per turn. For 6 turns, it doesn't seem particularly wonderful. I think I'm going to go for Bountiful Harvests. I mean, halflings like to eat, right? So why not? So we'll go to Select Arcane Research, so we're picking a new spell here. We can pick the Summon spell. This allows us to summon a Tier 2 unit, a Skirmisher unit, which allows them to do both range and melee attacks. We can summon it on the map or into an army, but not on the battle map. Enchanted Crow is something that permanently enhances our scouts, giving them +2 vision range on the world map. It's very cool. And Signet of Knighthood permanently gives all units in our armies that do not currently have the skill Stand Together, that particular skill. We don't need this because we don't have any in our army right now. All our halfling made units have this inherently in them. It's if we pick up units that are not halflings, that and you will, and you can, that you can have this and it will give them that particular Stand Together ability. So we don't need that one. I think it's a little early for the Summon Thrall, so let's get the Enchanted Crow to make our scouts better. Let's set production in Quentin, but before we do that, you can notice we got to pick another thing. That's because we leveled up again because of that quest. So because of that, I'm going to go over here to where this is, the pasture, and build another farm. A farm? Or actually, let's build a forester over here, actually. Because this forester splits the stuff between food and production, but because this has already got a pasture in it, it's going to give me a whole bunch of food already, so I can really get a lot of food and go up to 17, or I can get a little bit of production with it, which I think is good. So let's do that. We'll build a forester here. So you see we have a forester in this square, and a farm in this square. We'll go back to Quentin. Quentin is now out of building, but if I had 15 Imperium, I could cause the population to grow again immediately and buy another square. But you'll see the population will grow in one more turn, so we'll just wait till the next turn, which is fine. So let's set our production here. So these are only buildings. Buildings get boosted based on various things you do, largely on the kind of tiles you make. So the vendor was boosted because we have a farm, the workshop was boosted because we have a farm, the storehouse is boosted because we have a forester, and the library was boosted because we have a forester. Now, I already have a lot of food production, so I'm going to hold off on building more food production. Knowledge would be good, more gold would be good, and more production would be good. So let's start with the production. It cost me 42 gold to build this, so we'll build one. And I'm going to queue up a couple of other things. Let's queue up the library after that, and then the vendor, and then the storehouse. Sure, we'll get that going. Now I can also queue up some units. So if I go down here, we may want to get more units for our army. We did lose a pikeman. I don't really like pikemen, but we'll hold on to it now and we'll get it to go. We'll build one more pikeman to fill in the army of Hambinger here. We can hurry that recruitment and get it out right away by buying it immediately. I think we can do that over here as well, yeah. By buying it immediately. I don't want to do that, so we'll just let that tick down on its own. After all that is said and done, that's the end of our turn. So we'll just let it go and we'll see what happens. So you can see our scout is running around doing his own thing. Now the opponents are moving. Now we can decide what we're going to do. And we have a quest, Mending the Schism. Befriend the city quest. Get a pact of vassalage with Steelville. Wow, that's a terrible name. Following a long debate, one of the bannermen from Quentin approaches you, eager to speak. As you know, my Grand Steward, not all of the wholesome halflings had the wisdom to know your lead to Quentin, to follow your lead to Quentin. Some became fearful of the magic that the Elder passed on to you, our Grand Steward. They stayed with Merle Goldheart and founded Steelville on their own. We asked that you ally with Steelville. Sure. So we could ally with them. So we get a race reward and a mystery bonus. We do that. Oh, no, race relations, sorry, goes up and then we get a mysterious bonus. Or we can say, nah, we'll conquer them on our own. That lowers our alignment. Remember, our race gets better benefits from being good, more good. So not this one. Or they can choose their own path, whatever. But no, we'll absolutely do that. We just got to find them first. Don't know where they are. So Quentin is here. Quentin will head back to main base here and guard for the moment to grab some that unit that's coming out. In fact, I'm going to hurry the unit, and I'm going to build 2 scouts after that. Okay, so now Quentin is back up to 6, and we can move on to beating up this one. So there's the Steelville. Let's head down this way. I don't want you, I want the person. We'll head down this way. You can see there's a road here, so we'll run down the road. And like we mentioned in the last turn, the city has upgraded. So we get to pick another spot. So let's go into the queue here. What needs to be boosted? So the clergy needs a quarry. The granary needs 2 foresters. The market needs 2 farms. The stonemason needs 2 farms. The blacksmith needs 2 quarries. And the Arcane Institute needs a quarry and a forester. So the Arcane Institute and the clergy both just need a quarry based on what we have because we already have a forester. So let's build a quarry somewhere. Let's build a quarry maybe up here. Or this is even better. I didn't notice this was on the map. Close this for a minute so you can see a little better. It is right outside of Steelville, so maybe I don't want to take it right from them. And it may give me a warning if I go to this, but because this has got a special mana node on it, which gives us automatically 10 mana production, which is very useful because mana is another resource that you often have trouble getting, like it's always in short supply. It allows you to build these 2 buildings. A research post that gives me more research per turn, or a conduit, which gives me more mana node income per turn. And I will note that you can change these designations. It just causes time and possibly a cost to do so, but you can flip this. I could flip this this one over here actually as a farm, forester. I can flip this over to a farm if I chose to at another date to get those bonuses done. So I'm going to go for the research node over here. And we meet Merle Goldheart, who parted way with the Hopeful Halflings, loyal to him as your tribe entered the Valley of Wonders. So we speak again, Hambinger, Merle Goldheart says with a stern voice. Remember, we of Steelville seek no quarrel. It was magic that caused our loss of our homeland, magic that killed the elder of our tribe. When you took on the elder's tome, you asked for doom. We keep our distance, evading all magics will keep us safe. Give Merletart one of your Whispering Stones. This is how you communicate here. Whispering Stones are given to free cities to begin negotiations, which can lead to you becoming its vassal. It becoming your vassal. Having more allows you to befriend more free cities at once. Unused Whispering Stones can be given to your cities as well, the cities within your own empire, to increase their stability. We can gain more Whispering Stones in Empire Development. We'll talk about Empire Development when we get to a point up here. Once the Imperium gets high enough, it will tell us about Empire Development. We'll talk about it when we get there. So gradually, so let us formally begin a diplomatic relationship. And let's give them the Whispering Stone. You can see right now they like me at 300, and that's because 100, because we have a shared order affinity. 100, because of our alignment is good, and they like that. And a ruler orange and champion of the people is plus 100. And so our Whispering Stone is adding allegiance per turn to make this even better, right? So we're getting plus 1 from our current respectful state on allegiance. And our Whispering Stone is adding, I can get this to work again. Sometimes these don't pop up very quickly. Our Whispering Stone is adding 2, I think, or something like that. Anyhow, this will slowly increase up to the point where they want to be partnered, and then allied, and then a vassal. which is perfect. And I can boost the alliance a little bit more with my Imperium. I'm not going to do that. And I can begin trading with them once it reaches the Pact of Cooperation, which is right here. We'll just let this go for now. It says in 4 turns we'll hit the Pact of Cooperation, so we'll just wait for that to happen. So the pikeman is done. Everybody else is done. We've got the research post here, which is excellent. We should kill off this so that we can gain access to it. If the little monster is on it, we cannot gain access to that. So you notice we didn't gain the plus 10 mana per turn. So we'll keep working on that. Thank you for picking up that for me, and continue on. Oh, we found something else. Hunters from Beyond. That's a nasty looking unit, eh? So for a brief while, your people had found respite in the Valley of Wonders, but now panic shouts start to echo in the streets of Quentin. Doom is upon us! Monsters from beyond! Your scouts arrive shortly after the uproar. Creatures from the astral sea have been sighted and near the city. They fear the wholesome halflings quickly leads to doubt. Was Merle Godheart right? You have your magic powers attracted creatures from afar. To protect your people and restore faith in your rule, seek out the astral sea monsters near Quentin. If we do so, we will get a bunch of knowledge, which is cool, and a mysterious reward. Excellent. Now we can just take a look where they are by clicking here. And oh look, they're right there. And they even eliminated the thing that was on this tile for me, so that's nice. So you need orders required, that's fine. Can I beat these guys up? Do you think you'll win? Ooh, it's a low-risk battle, but not a insignificant battle. So we'll still pop over here and take them on. We'll, of course, manually combat this. Let's see about using some magic this time around. Yeah, they're over here. They got 3 units. So they got the Pixie unit here. Can I see these? I click on them? Yeah, it's got only 50 health. Not a lot of defense, but a lot of resistance. The resistance is resistance to non-physical damage, usually magical damage. And this one, defense, is resistance to physical damage. And they just have a little Cosmic Bolt spell. Not too scary, the Astral Whip. These things are lesser stone spirits. They have a decent amount of defense, not too much resistance, but not super weak, a little bit more hit points. And they are a melee striker. So these guys are distant strikers, these guys are melee strikers. And you notice out of here they got the little arrows. That's their sort of zone of attack. And last we got the Astral Siphoner. These are the nasty units. They have 100 hit points. It's quite a lot. And they have quite a lot of resistance on both ends. And they can pull. So pull the target unit and adjacent hex to this one. And then attack. So it doesn't seem too hard. So they have Astral Torrent as well. When this unit dies, friendly units within a 2-hex radius heal hit points. So they heal their allies when they die. And Astral Membrane, melee attackers have a 30% chance to becoming stunned if they attack them. So hit these guys at range is probably better and kill off the other 2 first. Perhaps. But let's speed this up, and we'll go automatic combat here for a second. I think I'll stop the combat here and do it myself for a moment here. Not that we're doing poorly. You've used up all your spells? No, you still have the healing one. So I want you to come here. And do this, please. That heals all them up. Perfect. I'd like you to go here and hit these guys. I'd like you to kill these guys. Well, it does affect their facing, so now they will probably be flanked if they get attacked, which is not great. I probably shouldn't have done that, but you make choices. It's 90% if I move here. So you notice they got 3 pips. So that's the number of actions they have, and movement counts as an action. So if I move here, it uses 2 pips. You can see it uses up 1 pip. You can see the 3 pips that are there go down to 2 that are lit up. If I go here, it's still 2 that are lit up. If I go here, it'll be 1 that's lit up. And this unit can attack multiple times. That's what that means down here. So if I have 3 pips open, it'll attack 3 times. If I have 2 pips open, it'll only attack twice. So moving to a 2 spot is probably better. That's a 2 spot here. So why don't I do that and attack you? Good. And you, my friend. Yeah, you have spell resistance, which I don't love. Let's do a call to glory here. Everybody's strengthened and 5 morale. And I want you to be over here. Yeah, over here. And hit these guys, please. They're blind, which will make it harder for them to hit. Can I see what blind means? If I go over here, maybe? It doesn't tell me. It's fine. And I think everybody's gone now. No, you haven't gone, right? No. Or have you gone? Yeah, you're gone. Yeah, everybody's gone now. Okay. End the turn. See, they took a lot of damage because they were flanked. That's okay. Let's have you, you'll get hit by the creature. So let's have you do this. You can afford to get retaliated, that's fine. Let's have you kill this. Let's have you kill this one. So because remember, when this guy dies, he heals people, and then we'll have this kill that. Perfect. So there's our victory. Nobody died, which is perfect. Hunters from Beyond Aftermath. The breach at the mana node hums like an arcane echo with its raw magic, and the astral sea returns and resonates with its astral flows. The astral invaders have been repelled, leaving a haunting impression of dangers lurking beyond Alpha. Yet you can't shake off the feeling of having glimpsed something grand, a window opening between worlds, inspired by the moment you feel empowered and capable of conjuring an object from the astral sea yourself. So we received 115 knowledge, which is like a turn and a half of knowledge. Is pretty good. And we can summon a cosmic orb. We can summon a whole lot of mana, which is like, could just add to this pool. Or we can summon a gremlin unit. Let's take a look at a gremlin. So a gremlin unit, it's got 55 hit points, it's a skirmisher. It's got a get behind you stat and a melee strike, looks at as fire. Don't particularly want the gremlin unit. I could get the cosmic orb. To be quite honest, none of these are particularly great. Or just a whole lot of mana. I'm worried the cosmic orb is not going to be better than what I already have. Let's get the cosmic orb, I guess. Okay, and if we take a look at dude here, we can replace his staff with the cosmic orb. So the cosmic orb does 5 lightning, 5 fire, and 5 is that shadow magic? I'm not sure what the last one there is. Does it say if I hover over it? I'm not sure what that last one is. Unleashes a magical bolt at the target enemy, affected by line of sight, cannot be used within enemy zone of control. I think it looks pretty good. Right now our staff does it say? I think that's good. We'll do this. It looks pretty cool. And these are all the equipment you can have. We also leveled up, so let's do this. So we can pick a Feudal Lord stat. So these are stats based on our race background. So these are like the Feudal race stats. So it could be Lord of Crops, give me 4 food income. Lord of Knowledge, it gives me knowledge income. Lord of Magic gives me more magic income. Lord of Production gives me more production income. And Lord of War gives me more draft income. can also pick some warfare here, be better at archery or defense or fighting, have poison weapons or sprint. But he's a magic user, so we don't want that. We want to go down to battle magic, which is channel power, which doesn't seem all that useful. Lightning evoker would be kind of cool. Magecraft gives me ignore up to 1 status resistancy and give me more accuracy. And then resistance gives me more resistance, which is pretty cool. And then there's of course support stuff, which gives stuff to your units and you. Sort of like the catch-all end of things here. So you can get experienced leaders, gives +2 experience per turn to the units in my army. That could be useful. Stand together, which gives 20% damage when adjacent to each other. So this gives him the stand together ability. All my units already have that, so I don't really need that. True sight, I can see invisible stuff. Undying loyalty. Gives steadfast for 1 turn if I choose to. This unit cannot have fewer than 1 hit point, so it saves the unit from dying. Or raises the maximum hit points. I think I'm gonna go with Lightning Evoker. Make him sort of a magey person. You can respec if you wanted to. If you go over here, you can respec. Reset skills. I think the first time it's free and later on it costs you. So if you decide the direction you went is not good, you can pick something else. We can take this guy on too, and I think we can do it pretty easily. So let's do that. Well, manual combat, and I'll do manual combat because I don't want any units to die. Max speed, auto combat here, and I'm just gonna watch. See if they can do this on their own without killing my units. Shouldn't be too hard since these people are not particularly strong. Perfect. A little close there on one of them, but that's okay. These guys all leveled up, which is excellent. We killed off some people and cleared off a zone. We got some rewards. We got the chestplate of vitality and some money. So let's open the hero screen and we'll put on the chestplate of vitality. So that gives him more defense and some more hit points. It's just useful. A little more useful on a melee combat hero, but still useful on good old Ham here. Let's send Ham home to get healed up. You can heal up in your own territory. I mean, you can heal up everywhere, but you heal up faster in your home territory and even faster in your home territory. And I may start looking around to settle a new city, and only heroes can do that. So we'll have to think about where we want to do that. So the Enchanted Crow companion research is done. It gives +2 vision range for the world map. So we can select a new research here. So we can select poison arrows, which give all our ranged units +4 bite damage at the cost of 2 physical damage. So overall, it's a +2 damage increase, and it gives them something that is not physical damage, so it affects the enemies differently, and it has a 30% chance of inflicting poison damage over time. And hold the line here. All friendly units in a 1 hex radius gain the Steadfast trait, and Steadfast is units cannot die. They get no fewer than 1 hit point. That could be useful. Or the Wayfinder one, I like. It gives my scouts faster movement. Makes them move even more on the map, and I like that. So we'll do that. And can we cast the Stormcrow? Yes, we can. So let's do that. It's going to take 2 turns, and when it's done, all my scouts will be better than they are. So I think that takes us to the end of the first episode. Let me know if you're enjoying the series, if you'd like Age of Wonders 4 on the channel. And I'll continue to play it, of course, for a little while. And liking and subscribing and leaving comments and all that jazz really helps out a new series, especially the first episode. Get it noticed on the YouTube pages, so I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed and did all that stuff. So Come back next time where we do more Age of Wonders content. I'm probably going to have these episodes be longer than my normal episodes for like my other series like Stellaris and whatnot, because this game is a little bit slower paced, I find, and so having a bit of a longer episode allows us to get through more in each session. So hope to see you in the next one, and have a great day.